This is Agriculture Research Council of Nigerian Television. My name is Joshua Ishaya. Welcome you to yet another fresh edition of the program Aqua Farming. Today on Aqua Farming, we'll be looking at freshwater aquaculture. First of all, what is freshwater aquaculture? Freshwater aquaculture refers to raising and breeding aquatic animals like fish, shrimps, crab, shellfish, and their likes, and plants for economic purposes by the use of ponds, reservoirs, lakes, rivers, and other inland waterways, including brackish water, which play an important role in the aquaculture industry. Take a look. Today on the program Aqua Farming, we'll be looking at freshwater aquaculture. Fish is a rich source of animal protein and it's cultured in an efficient protein food production system from aquatic environment. The main role of fish culture is its contribution in improving the nutritional standards of people. Fish culture also helps in utilizing water and land resources. It provides inducement to establish other subsidiary industries in the country. The basic principle of composite fish culture system is the stocking of various fast-growing, compactable species of fish with complementary feeding habits to utilize efficiently the natural food present at different ecological niches in the pond for maximizing fish production. Composite fish culture technology in brief involves the eradication of aquatic weeds and predatory fish, lambing application of fertilizers on the basis of pond soil and water quality, stocking with 100 mm size fingerlings of Indian major carp catla, exotic carp, silver carp, grass carp, and common carp in judicious combination and density, regular complementary feeding, and harvesting of fish at a suitable time. Composite fish culture system is conducted by adopting three types of combinations: culture of Indian major carps along culture of exotic carps alone, and culture of Indian and exotic carps. Together, fish production ranging between 3,000 to 6,000 kg per hectare per year is obtained normally through composite fish culture system. Development of intensive pond management measures have led to increased fish yield further. Integrated fish and animal husbandry system involved recently are the fish compig culture, utilization of cattle farm, yard waste, and recycling of biogas plant slurry for fish production. Advantages of the combined culture system: number of birds and animals, quantity of manure required, and fish production potentiality of the recycling system are described fish culture in paddy fields in an important integrated fish agriculture system. Essential requirement of paddy field to conduct fish culture: characterize features suitable for culture in rice field, constraints to culture fish in paddy fields due to recent agrarian practices, and improved fish paddy farming methodologies are discussed. Freshwater prawn culture is a recent practice. Giant freshwater prawn, Macrobanchus rosebergi, and Indian riverine prawn, Malcolmosney, are the most favored species for farming purposes in Nigeria. Breeding, hatchery management, seed production, cultural system, and production potentialities of the freshwater prawns are presented. Commercially important air-breathing fishes of India are the morels, clambing perch, singai, magoo. Techniques of the seed production and cultural system are described. Freshwater cultural system. Now let's look at the freshwater cultural system. Cultivatable organisms are cultured in different types of cultural system. Many cultural systems are based on traditional ideas that have been used for years, but some encompass new and sometimes radical concepts that make them unique. There are three major cultural systems: open, semi-closed, and closed cultural system. Each has its special characteristics, advantages, and disadvantages. The choice of system is largely dependent on the function of the organism to grow and the resources and ideas of the farmer. Open systems are the oldest, and the farming is use of the environment as the fish farm. Natural resources can be used as cultural system and organisms to be cultured as stock in the water body. Capital expenses are low for the open culture systems. There is less management than in other systems. The conditions are more natural and uncrowded in the cultural environment. Less time is required in monitoring the condition of the cultural organism in open systems. The disadvantages like predation and poaching are common. The growth rates and uniformity of the product are variable compared to other systems. Cages, long lines, floats, rafts, trays, and clamps bales are examples of the open system techniques. It is the culture of fish or other organisms in a river, lake, or bays by holding them in cages. Cages are built of metal rods, bamboo mesh, or PVC pipes and covered by mosquito cloths or nylon nets. Cage culture in recent years have been considered as a highly specialized and sophisticated modern aquaculture technique, receiving attention for intensive exploitation of water bodies, especially larger in nature, all over the world. In India, cage culture was attempted for the first time in case of air-breathing fishes, tide, fossils, and test tunnels in swamps. Pens are the special designed nylon on bamboo made enclosure constructed in the water body into which fish are released for culture, such by the culture referred to as pen culture. Let's look at the raft culture. Rafts are generally made of bamboo poles or metals walls with buoys at the tops of floating in water. These are used in culture of oysters, mussels, seaweeds, and open grass. Rafts are constructed in brackish water areas and offshore areas for rearing oysters, mussels, seaweeds, and their likes. In semi-closed system, control over growing conditions in closed system. The temperature is regulated. Parasite or predators are not found, and harvesting is simple. Food and drugs can be added effectively into the system to grow quickly and uniformly. Fish or prawn culture in water circulation system is good example for closed systems. The water is conserved throughout most of all the growing season by circulating the culture tank after purifying it through biological filters. Closed recirculating water systems are being used primarily for experimental work and for the rearing of larval organisms in commercial or research facilities. Closed systems are generally comprised of four components. The culture chamber is a primary setting chamber, a biological filter, and a final clarifier or a secondary settling chamber for purification of water for reuse. Nigeria is endowed with vast and varied aquatic resources, marine land, and amenable for capture, fisheries, and aquaculture. While the marine water bodies are used mainly for capture fisheries resources, the inland water bodies are widely used both for culture and capture fisheries. Most of the inland water bodies are captive ecosystems where intensive human intervention in the biological production processes can be possible and thereby holding enormous potential for manifold areas in fish output. Inland water bodies include freshwater bodies like rivers, canals, streams, lakes, floodplain, wetlands or bills, back swamps, reservoirs, pond tanks, and other derelict water bodies and brackish water areas like estuaries and associated coastal pond lagoons. The inland water resources available in Nigeria is rampant. There are innumerable ponds and tanks of different size, both perennial and seasonal. With the rapid development of aquaculture in the last 2 decades in Nigeria, the ponds have been increasing tremendously. Not only the waste and low-lying lands, but also the vast tracts of agricultural lands are being converted to myriads of fish ponds. The area on the ponds and tanks available for freshwater aquaculture in Nigeria has been estimated at 2.85 MHA. Ponds and tanks are more numerous in northern Nigeria. The ponds offer scope for enhanced productivity through semi-intensive and intensive aquacultural practices. Nigerian freshwater aquaculture has evolved from the stage of domestic activity in western Nigeria and to that of the industry in recent years, with states like Cross River, Anambra, Igbo, Lagos, Ibadan, and the likes taking up fish culture as a trade, with technological input, entrepreneurial activities, and initiatives on final investments. Ponds. Now let's look at introduction of freshwater aquaculture. Productivity has gone up from 600 to 800 tons per year. White crabs are the main species cultured in ponds. Other like catfish, mbrels, tilapia, prawns, and mussels are pale culture are also being cultured in pond. In Nigeria, an estimated 0.6 million hectares of water remains unutilized for fish production. This is the form of marshes and swamp alone. Reclamation of such swamp into fish pond is recognized as an effective means of making them productive but difficult for fish culture from production standpoint. However, these can be made productive with the introduction of cage culture of air-breathing fishes. The success is largely due to the fact that the 2 main obstacles of swamp can be overcome by these. Cage culture precludes outbreaks of cultured fish being lost during harvesting in these weed-infested waters. Secondly, selection of air-breathing species of fish eliminates the danger of mass kill under conditions of deoxygenation. A number of air-breathing fishes are indigenous to our waters, and many of these are popular as food fishes among Indians. The important ones are magoo, Claras barrancus, Singai, Heteropenus fossils, koi, Anabas testudianus, morel, or fish Phallus chana is also equally valuable for cultivation in swamps. Reservoirs are defined as man-made impoundment created by erecting a dam of any description on a river, stream, or any other course to obstruct the surface flow. However, water body less than 10 hectares in area have been excluded from this definition. The Ministry of Agriculture of Nigeria classifies reservoir as small and large for the purpose of fishery management. Reservoir constitute the single largest inland fisheries resources in terms of resources size and production potential. It has been estimated that Nigeria has 19,134 small reservoirs with a total water surface area of 1,445,575 hectares, 180 medium reservoirs. The medium and large reservoirs are predominantly capture systems, although many of the clogged their fisheries to depend to large extent on the wild, neutralized fish stock. Conversely, small reservoirs are managed as cultured fisheries, where the fish catch depend on stocking. More than 70% of small reservoirs in Nigeria are small irrigation impoundment created to store stream water for irrigation. They either dry up completely or retain very little water during summer. This ruling out by possibility of retaining broodstock for recruitment, thus culture-based fishery is the most appropriate management option for the small reservoirs in Nigeria. The key management parameters of culture-based fisheries are species selection, stocking, and environmental enhancement, enriching the water quality through artificial eutrophication. Today, most of the states being capable of producing capsid through hypophysication and culture-based fisheries of small reservoirs in Nigeria largely center around the three species of Nigerian major carps: Katla, Lebo rohita, and Sahunus marigala. The Indian major carp have an impressive growth rate, and their feeding habits are suitable for utilization of various food niches. In addition, the stocking of many exotic species, tilapia, common carp, silver carp grass, have also contributed substantially to commercial fisheries. The other groups having countrywide distribution are the catfish, featherbracks, air-breathing fishes, and minnows. Let's look at the floodplain wetlands. The floodplains are either permanent or temporary water bodies associated with rivers and constantly shift their beds, especially in the waterwarm regions. Ramsar Convention defines waterland as area of marsh, fen pits, and other water, whether natural or artificial, permanent or temporary, with water which is static or flowing. Fresh brackish or salt, including areas of marine waters, the depth of water at low tide does not exceed 9 meters. The bills of floodplain wetland usually represent the lengthy component of floodplains. Slots, meader, scroll dispersation, residual channels, and the backswarms includes the lottic components. In addition, tectonic depression located in river basin are also included in bills. Thus, all the wetland formation located at the floodplains can be termed as floodplain wetlands. They are either shallow depression or dead riverbeds generally connected to the principal rivers or receive backflow water from the rivers during the flood or from the huge catchment area of flowing or following monsoon rains. Floodplain wetlands or lakes, which form an integral component of fish pond. They constitute an important fishery resources in Nigeria. West Bengal. One of the most important aspects of land-based aquaculture is seed procurement. Fish seed is the most important component for fish culture. The freshwater resources of our country is for fish culture are estimated to be 2.85 million hectares of pond and tanks. In addition to this, another 2.5 million hectares of water area is available in the form of reservoirs or lakes. It has been estimated that nearly 14,250 million fry whales will be required for stocking even the present available cultivable resources of 2.8 million hectares on a conservative stocking rate of 500 fry hectare. The present production is 15,700 million fry. Apart from these, at least an additional quantity of 4 to 1,000 million fry are required for stocking the available area of lakes and reservoirs with an average stocking rate of 200 fry per hectare. These indicate that there is a necessity to raise the fry to stock the available water resources. The fish seed obtained in 3 sources: riverine, hatcheries, and boards. The collection of seeds from riverine sources was an age-old practice. This method is strenuous and we get the mix of what wanted and unwanted fish seed. Hatcheries are the best ways of getting fish seed. Apart from these, the bird breeding is also a good method to collect the fish seed by creating a natural habitat. The different river system of Nigeria display variation with regards to the distribution and abundance of the fish fauna. This is mainly due to the individual ecological conditions such as gradient, terrain, flow depth, temperature, substrata, etc. The northern rivers are perennial and support rich commercial fisheries, except for the delactic regions. The fishery of Peninsula River is poor, both in the upper and middle reaches. The different river systems of India display variation with regards to the distribution and abundance of the fish fauna. This is mainly due to the environmental or ecological condition such as gradient, terrain, flow, depth, temperature, substrata, etc. The northern rivers are perennial and support rich commercial fisheries, except for the delactic region. The fishery of the Peninsula River is poor both in the upper and middle reaches. Nigeria has 5 major systems. These are Ganges River System. Let's talk about collection of seed from natural resources. Availability of fish seed in large quantity is primary requisite to develop fish culture in Nigeria. Nigerian major carp cattle are preferred for cultivation and freshwater ponds and tanks throughout the country. Natural habitat of these Nigerian major carp is rivers, and their original spawning grounds are the flooded rivers. Since a long time, traditional method of collection of carp, ponds, and fry from those natural resources were built up, particularly in Bengal, which soon spread to other states of eastern India. Fish seed trade even today depends on these resources in few places. With a view to providing scientific basis, seed prospecting investigations were initiated in various river systems in Nigeria. Attempts were made to standardize the spawn collection nets, to evolve methods of collection, and to ascertain factors responsible for fluctuations in the availability of fish seed in relation to time and place. Now, let's talk about site selection for seed collection. A pre-monsoon survey is conducted to ascertain the topography of the terrain and bank features in the vicinity of a site to determine the extent of operational area. The topography of dry beds and tanks features to gauge the likely current patterns of the river at different stages of flooding. The distribution and composition of fish fauna and the selected stretch of river resident or immigrant for assessing the abundance of major carps during the monsoon season. The location of tributaries, rivulets, and canals, along with their main rivers, as they might constitute important connecting links between the rivers and breeding grounds. The identity and accessibility of the site. The bends and curves of various shapes and rivers courses show a precipitous fast eroding bank on one side called erosion zone and a flat gentle sloping bank exactly opposite called shadow zone. These banks are not useful for spawn or selection. Best seed collection site lies on the side of the flopping banks, but at the spot current phase, the currents, the force to the site by centrifugal force. These pods are best for operating net to collect large amount of spawn.
And that's how far we can go today on aqua farming, where we talk about freshwater aquaculture. My name remains Joshua Ishaya, thanking you for being a part of it. Bye for now.